Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to welcome everyone to join our second session of Raffles University Fashion Designer Graduation Design Collection Sharing as a team named Mirror. So we are the students from Bachelor of Fashion Design, and today we will present our graduation collection. So the reason that our team name is Mirror because fashion has newly transformed beyond clothing and styling, which display attitude, defines personality, and belief with the act of continuous self-evaluation and development. And fashion is designed in a silent way but powerful, which truly reflects on the creations. So this is our second session of the showcase. And yes, you didn't listen wrongly. We conduct the first three designers on Wednesday. So don't worry, we have recorded it down on our official page. If you missed out or you are interested, you can check back anytime. So no time to lose. Let us start our sharing right away. So today the designer for today's session will be me, Jace, Nicole, and Jasmine. So I'm Jace. Now I'm going to share with you guys my collection that are related to music and life. So for me, music is an art. It's a way to express our thoughts and emotions. And music is like a mirror of ourselves because it is all about our thoughts. So before I start my sharing, you guys can scan this QR code to go through online portfolio. The website is included my inspiration, work of progress, and also the final look of the design. So feel free to visit the website. So during the sharing, I will share my inspiration of the collection, color palette, fabrication, development, final look, and lastly, conclusion. So now I will briefly talk about my story of the inspiration. So actually the story of this collection is from a song called Beautiful Now by Z. So you can scan this QR code or type in the song name in YouTube, Beautiful Now. So and you can listen the song while I'm explaining the story. And now I will start my explanation of the story. And this collection is inspired by a song called Beautiful Now, written by Z. And you will see a few characters here for this story. First, in this music video, you will see a couple is fighting because they have a bad breakup and the lover fell into the pool and drowned. And second, a traveler. He is riding his horse to a tall mountain, but at last he released his horse and continued his journey alone. So it is quite dangerous. And third, a man saw a fool of robbers rush into his house and he decided to use a handgun to take revenge to save his family. The fourth character, a thief is stealing in a store and quickly runs away when the manager saw them. Number 5, also the last character, a girl is trying to suicide and she starts to lie down on the railway and she's waiting for the train to pass by. And next, the scene is filled with smiles and happiness. And this scene is showing all the characters are having their beautiful lifestyle and all the characters have enjoyed much better times than they are now. Now we back to the scenario where the characters have their hard times. First, the drowned lover was pulled out from the water and the people who pushed her lover saw herself in the mirror. Also with the lyrics, beautiful now, beautiful now. And second, the situation in traveling alone becomes more serious and dangerous. And the traveler falls from the mountain, then he saw his reflection from the puddle. And third, the victim points his gun at the robbers and he saw himself in the mirror. Number 4, the thief that stole in the store just now is elevating his knife and he saw his reflection on the blade. Also with the lyrics, "You are beautiful now." And lastly, the suicide girl is survived from the railway and she was also confusing and she back home then she saw her reflection from the window. So here we come to the end of the story, which is to let audience imagine the character's ending. Actually, in this music video, there is no answer for every character's ending. After they saw their reflection, will they start realizing it, or do they give themselves another chance? Maybe the drowned lover survive, or maybe the traveler successfully climbs up the mountain. The victim did not shoot the robbers but brought them to justice, or maybe the thief changed his mind. And lastly, the girl realized that it is not worth to ending her life and decided to leave. After the story, let me explain my ideas and feeling after I understand the meaning of this song. From the beginning, the characters are facing problems. For example, the victim's house was robbed and he decided to point the gun at the robbers. Sometimes it is hard to make decisions and we may feel regret when we did the wrong decisions. But after we watch their own reflection, like in the what shown in the music video, the story, they are suddenly realized and awake from the situation they overcome. So it is about our mindset and also idea and behavior. So when they are looking at the mirror, they start thinking. And also for in this mentioned, after my research, looking at the mirror can let people feel exposed and more understand their inner self. Furthermore, when people think in their mind, actually have an aura. So aura is like a thought that luminous body surrounding our body. So aura can have different colors which can represent what energy we have. So from here, thoughts are important for everyone. What energy you have may lead you to the certain conclusion. Just like the characters facing, they have a chance to repent. And the important point is what conclusion they're done after they're watching their reflection and start thinking. As the lyrics say, and whatever the decision we make, it is part of our life, then our life will become more interesting and beautiful. So this is the point for this collection. So after this story, I conclude the inspiration and what I feel into a mood board. This is the mood board of the collection, and this collection is not creating awareness, but this project is to let people have realization. So it is about definitely not being proud of our darkest moment and most challenging situations, but everyone is beautiful even when things of situation become worse or doing ugly things. There is still a chance to see that the beauty in all of us as well as life itself. So this song which is to encourage and motivate everyone to look forward and always remember that every individual is beautiful in their own way. So in the song story, everyone who is doing crimes and start realize when they look at their reflection from themselves, and then I draw an anatomy and I color it. So I draw this illustration is to imitate after we look in the mirror, we are like fully naked to ourselves, like fully exposed, and the color represent the colorful memories that we have, and also aura of energy we have. So everyone is an individual with a unique mindset and lifestyle. And next, this is the color palette of the collection. The colors are followed according to aura. So aura is not an object, but it is a thought, an idea, a mindset. So aura is an abstract, so we cannot touch it, but we can feel it. Every color represents a different meaning. Purple means wise, red means energetic, blue means thinker, green means nature, and the lastly, black color unkind. So aura is a thought. What kind of aura you have and will affect the decision you will have. And next is the silhouette research. Because this inspiration brings out a useful and energetic feeling, so I decided to use the streetwear as my collection's main silhouette. So streetwear is a popular silhouette since the 1990s, so I researched some characteristics of streetwear. So in the 1990s, streetwear is a clothing style that became known worldwide become popular. So streetwear originated from a combination of New York hip hop fashion, California surf cat culture, and the elements of sportwear, punk, and Japanese street fashion. So eventually, haute couture become an influence also. It is about casual, comfortable pieces that as t-shirt, jeans, sneakers, and baseball caps. So these are my notes for my silhouette research. And then I summarize the information. So here come the overall silhouette of my collection, which will be a bit baggy, loose fit, and with some overlay fashion. And besides that, in the fabrication, I will use the fabric that brings out the casual feeling which is related to streetwear. So in streetwear, they usually use cotton and denim. So for this collection, I will use also denim but with different colors to relate it with the color palette, aura, and the cotton poplin fabric. And next, as I mentioned earlier, standing in front of the mirror means we expose ourselves and can see through our thoughts and behavior. So then I choose anatomy as my element. So I start sketch out the pattern. I draw out the lines and then start copy and paste, duplicate it to create a new pattern. After sketching, I also try to make samples to check the outcome. So this is my research of the pictures, and then I draw on the picture, draw it out, and then cut and paste become the picture like this. And then I also draw some lines for creating a new pattern. And then according to the pattern, I try to make out the sample. So these are some patterns that I make out. Is I try to use a string to sew a line here and then I pull it to become a gathers. Besides that, I do start doing toile to see the outcome and then start mixing it with my fabric manipulation. So this is all my records for the toile, the sketching. And then I will try the same pattern but in a different way. So this is my toile. I start mixing the fabric manipulation on my toile. And then this is how I using the same fabric manipulation but in a different direction to see the outcome. After that, I also sew it on the toile. I do the first one and I also do the second fabric manipulation, which is gathers. So it's in the process is mainly doing toile and also sketching. So this is all my records for the sketching. Other than sketching, I start adding the colors and mix with the fabric manipulation. And then this is my planning for the final egg looks. I pick out the egg looks and I decide which finishing I want to apply and also the fastening. So this is all my planning for the egg garment. And next is I pick out the egg garment. So this is the egg garment I pick out. So this is the front of the range plan. Inner space is the spring and summer unisex collection 2023. So the reason I create unisex clothing is this idea can be applied to everyone, just like the song from my inspiration. Everyone can face any problem, and also everyone is a unique individual. So, and then this is the back look of the collection, the illustration. Furthermore, these are my records for the fitting to check the outcome before doing the actual garment. And next, because I want to do this, the pattern, so I try to use this method to duplicate this pattern out. So I think of this way, cut the fabric into stripes and then tie a knot to make out this pattern. So this is how I do my fabric manipulation. So this is the first pattern I developed out. And this is the second pattern I apply in the collection. So these are the gathers I created. I sew a line first and then I pull the thread and then will become the gathers. So the lines are actually from the pattern from anatomy. So now I'm going to show the pictures of my final outcome. First look, passion. So the meaning of this garment is in our life is include many emotions and feelings. So passion is a strong and very comfortable emotion, and we will feel passion when we doing something we love, and also passion is a motivation that let people live their life positively. That is the first look, and this is the second look, energetic. Energetic is also what we can feel when we see color. Red is very passionate, energetic, and after that also related to my inspiration. Every color have different meanings, then red can represent happy also. So energetic is the feeling is rooted in happiness, just like what we have seen in the music video. They have their happy moment in their life. So the third looks the nature. Nature is Nature in this collection means everyone is a unique individual because we are not fixed in what we have, and it is very beautiful when everyone have different background experience so that our life is not boring but interesting to know more from others. So that's why everyone is beautiful because of different background experience. And number four, named Natsumi, and the fifth look is called Yayoi. And this means spring and summer in Japanese name. So everyone have hard times in their life. So can be doing ugly things or something not good, but after the hard times, the spring and summer will come. Means we successfully overcome the problems. And also, spring and summer is for me is like giving a feeling of reborn. Reborn for me is like giving us a chance to repent. And then the sixth look, the wisdom. So when we make a decision like we saw in the story, they start looking at their reflection and start thinking what they should do next. So we need to think twice, and after that, think of the consequences. Life is full of situations that we need to do decision, and it can affect our life. So it is an important homework that we need to do. just like the characters we seen I mentioned before. And then the seven look calm thinker. So especially when we facing angry emotions or emergency, so we need to stay calm and thinking is important. Just like what I inspired from the song. All the characters stay calm and start thinking after they realize that they make the wrong decision. Like the thief pointing the knife to the manager and the victim points the gun to the robbers. Yeah. So that we can solve the problem in a good way when we think calmly. And the last outfit is the important point for this collection, unique glow. As you can see, the outfit is full of colors and it is represent everyone's life. Everyone can have different emotions, memories, just like the music video shows and experience. So we just need to keep improving ourselves and live out the most unique lifestyle, although sometimes we make wrong choices. In conclusion, every individual has filled with unique minds and ideas, inspiration and memories. People can have many emotions like happiness, sadness, anger, excited. So this is called life, and we all can have a chance to repent and let's embrace our flaws. And that's all for my sharing. Thank you for lending your ears. And if you have any question, you can comment below. Let us know. And now I will pass it to the next designer, Nicole.
Hi, good afternoon all. Here is Nicole from BFD department, and thank you for today. Take your time to listen to my presentation. So let's get started. Today I'm going to present my graduate collection to you guys. The collection is called Mammal. And this collection is about summer spring 2023. It will be the women's wear semi couture. The collection include 8 looks with different design. So next I will share and talk about my inspiration in the video.
In here, I would like to share my inspiration with you guys. Actually, I'm a rural girl living in Kuala Terengganu. Because of higher education issues, I decided to move to Johor, the city. Besides that, I have been in Johor, the city, for about 4 years. During the MCO, because the government banned interstate, I could not return to my hometown due to the pandemic. It makes me miss my hometown very much. After so many years in the city, I found that the city is completely different from my hometown. In addition, I have been closely related to nature since I was born until graduated from secondary school. Suddenly, the high-rise building of the city made me feel like I do not belong here, which let me desire nature. So that is my inspirations come from the journey to blossom, connecting idea of the combination of the human and plant, the 8 stages of the development stage.
The beauty of the connection between people and flowering plants, the connection I named the journey to blossom. This connection will be expressed through the beauty of workmanship, the expression, and the feeling of the work. So the overall for this collection is to bring out the feeling and to emphasize freedom but elegant yet generous, femininity but independent, desire but only for nature. I know you all can't wait to see the final result, but please bear with me. Until then, as I want to share with you the part of my idea development from the primary and secondary research collection to the finished product. In the next slide, I would like to share my idea development via video to show how I connected them with flowering plants and human. For extra knowledge tips, did you know that in fact the life development of plants and humans is the same? Some genes of plants and almost 60% of height of humans genes. Let me explain and introduce the various stages of human and flowering plants life development. Observing and studying the similarities between human and flowering plant makes their commonalities one of my elements. Not only does the life development connection also clearly show the life cycle of both. A life cycle is a series of stages a living thing goes through during its life. All plants and animals go through life cycle. So in this collection, we talk about the connection between flowering plant and humans. First of all, we go through the flowering plant first. Flowering plants also contain 8 stages of life development. Every stage of development represents growth. Representing different meaning in the growth process, each influence will create the present. Then the similarities between plants and human contain 8 stages of life development too. I will use the photo of me and my family member and friend that show every single life development to become one of my element. So how do I connect these two different categories? So the next video will explain everything and we will talk about the similarities between human and flowering plants later.
So here is my sketch development video. First of all, I was draw out the silhouette of the flowering plant. I get into the second development, which is join the individual pattern together, then stick it properly. And for the human part, I also draw the silhouette out of the human. Then I look back, which is my second development for the flowering plant. Then I join up with the human silhouette to see how can I play with it. Those is my some sketches example for every stage of the life development. Then I apply them to my figure drawing.
And human silhouette or pattern and keep developing them to get the new element for my collection. And do not forget our 8 stages, the similarities of 2 different categories. So the first stage, which is seed, stands for human prenatal development, which is the baby inside mommy's uterus. They are being protected and absorb nutrients from the embryo to have a good development process. And then germination, which is stage 2, stands for infancy and toddlerhood. Instead of relying on embryos to survive, we begin to develop ourselves and use our structure to establish individual development. And stage 3, which is growth, stands for early childhood and middle childhood. The first leaf cotyledons, just like early childhood, we start to explore and research the world, know how the world works and utilize them, what the outside influence. After that, we use the foundation to development what the outside world influences us, utilize and develop to connect with the world has primary leaf, just like in the middle of childhood. So for the stage 4, which is flowering, stands for adolescence. Both begin to have a strong gender distinction, which is a sign of maturity. And then the stage 5 is pollination, stand for early adulthood, begin to gradually get in touch with the world more widely and know the pros and cons brought by society or the world. And stage 6, mature, and release, stand by middle adulthood, dedicate what they must spread out and bring a steady source of sources to the world. And then stage 7, wider, stand for late adulthood. The mechanism of it would come to the end. The flower, like human being, lack nutrients and water, and it will face death later. And the last one is the state age, death, represent death and dying. Depletion of resources and lack of care can indirectly lead to the sacrifice of vulnerable life form. But on the other hand, the new life cycle is also flowering. So the old man holding the child is better explain the death of stage 8, but the new risk. So here is the overcome of my collection idea. And then just now talk about emphasizing the beauty of combination of people and flowering plant will be expressed through the beauty of workmanship. So the collection will have a decorative look that enhance the look and enhance your wardrobe. This is not the end to disclose how I get the pattern, how I will use the pattern, and what pattern will be used. And I will use the video to explain and answer the confusion with you one by one.
So here comes the first stage development for the beading pattern part. And you can see the result is come out is mean and then small, not like a very full development. And then I also give out the color too. I give another second development for this pattern, and then I joining that with my stage 1 pattern beading, and then I join them together to get wow effect to my beading pattern. And then I also give the color into it to see which color is the suitable one. This is my main beading pattern, and then the color is come from the color palette. I go for the market survey to see which fabric is the most suitable for my collection. Those is like full of embroidery. After that, I joining back with the fabric and then beading pattern together.
People into this beading information and details. Okay, then after the beading pattern development is playing with mix and match and juxtaposition with the garment to see how the result comes out. I'm also trying on different placement and different colors too. And after the style that has already picked on the development, then possible can be ready to proceed to the garment making. But how do I know where the silhouette came from and also the fabric and color chosen? So let us go through with the silhouette first. To honor my dear mother, I decide to use a 1960 fashion silhouette in my collection, which is A-line. The A-line accentuates the shape of human body's curve and emphasize beauty. Therefore, the collection will focus on highlighting the waistline of the human body, but it is comfortable, and widening the hem will visually highlight the waistline too. So, just mention an elegant and feminine look, right? The satin fabric gives a draping and statement features, also cling to female curve in a flattering way. So satin is the best option for this collection. In addition, these are fur fabric applied in this collection too. Reason why is the detailing on the leaves also gain texture for my collection. Besides, there are netting also applied to this collection because for the beading purpose. After collecting the element and images that apply to this collection, I picked the majority of series color which are baby pink, purple blue, dark green, and dark gray. For those color, the combination also show a sense of calm, elegant, and knowledgeable sign. And finally, we can proceed to the garment making. So there are two types of fitting needed in this project. To make sure there is no mistake, the first fitting purpose is to overview the garment of the silhouette, size, length, pattern position, etc. Usually at this stage, we kindly have to make adjustments. And for the second fitting, usually we use similar color and fabric to make it up to see the color combination, is it suits for every look or not. Some of the looks need to do an adjustment to until it's perfect. So here is the front view of the illustration drawing for this collection. And here is the back view. So the collection is like full of craftsmanship, has beading, sequins, and pearl detailings can present garment as exquisite work of art. So let's move on to how the beading pattern that I make it up.
Before proceed to the embroidery, I have to draw out the sizes of the embroidery pattern, choosing the right color for the beads to make sure the color and color tone is matched. I try out with different color and different beads. The technique that I apply is double beading. I'm using masking tape to shape the pattern with the beads. And that is successful. Here is the custom-made pattern for my collection. I'm using fabric glue to do the experiment, then the result come out is possible to use. The other technique which is learned from the manufacturer, which is hand embroidery with knitting, fabric and paper together. Then I get this.
I would like to describe the construction part with using a video.
How I get those pearl stick on the garments? So here is the technique with using pearl punch machine. Get different size of punch head to suit different size of pearl. There are up to 3 sizes of pearls needed in this collection, which is 6, 4, and 2 mm. Let's look forward to another sewing technique. First of all, I need to iron it to avoid wrinkles. In every pieces of beading pattern with fabric, I have to sew them together first to secure it in place. And also the flare part too. And here comes the result.
It combines the sewing of bead to stitch seed beads onto various items of garment. That is, and the work will be a time investment project to well force the effort to achieve the bling and effect that your wardrobe provides. I spent a minimal average of almost like 15 hours per day on my beading from week 1 to week 13, not including the time to sew the clothing and the experimental part. It's just only beading part. So hope it inspires you. So this video is about behind the scene. During the shooting, we had an in-depth discussion to make the effect better with the photographer. So to get the effect better by smooth up the extra wrinkle on the garment, that's where on the model will the model is posting to. So here is the overall look of this collection. This is to emphasize the atmosphere and the mood of elegance and to keep in touch with nature. So here is the website and the QR code given. This website contains collectible and other artworks under Nico, the brand. The journey of the collection details information about each artwork and preview artwork related to nature are all within the website. If you guys want to know more, then scan that QR code and it will take you there. Welcome to subscribe us. We will keep updating latest information. So, and also welcome to follow us on Facebook and Instagram too. Mainly through this platform to share people's interesting artwork and article. Also, our artwork is interesting progress. You can scan in the QR code to learn more. Last but not least, the collection is to bring out the continue to explore forever, just like we and flowering plant continue to grow. From unexplored areas to processing knowledge in the field. And thank you for your listening. At the first stage, I was like very struggling at working with my collection. Yeah, but after those problems solved and then the result comes out, I'm very happy and I'm very proud of it. And I feel it is worth it no matter how hard at the first stage with my art piece in the collection. So here is my presentation. So you guys can comment it below if any question. So I will pass the speaker to the next presenter, next designer, which is Jasmine Aljiemin.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine. So I will be continue for these sections. So I'm Jasmine, and just as my brand name, later I will be showing up my collections also. And my brand name is Jamie, and it is synchronous pronunciations, and also it is a short form for my full name. So my name you can refers to the little bar there. There's writings on Jasmine Aljiaming. So it is the short form of it. And before we start, it's just a little reminders for you all that feel free to drop a comments for us. And if any question, you can leave it in the comments also. And don't forget to press likes and love. And as well, you may share it out for this live. And so now I will start my sharings on the finals year projects collections. In these sections, I hope that you all will actually able to inspire with my creations also, and hope you will enjoy these sections. And the collections to be showcased today is autumn winter 2023 avant-garde, and I name it as Too Much. So when we first look at the name Too Much, it is can be simply means to excessive, extra, or overlooked. It is a very surface meanings of these words and titles, and why it relates to consumerisms. When we think about too much, as I mentioned, it is excessive, and why consumerisms like reflects with this team name, it is actually a reflections on the current society and concept that keep encouraging people to like consume more and more products without considering the actual needs and functionality, which is we known as consumerisms. That's why the themes that I will be going to talk about, it is a link between my theme name and this concept. So first of all, let me talk a little bit of the initial inspirations why I wanted to discuss about this topics consumerisms. It is actually it come from a book that I have read. It's named as The Consumer Society, and it is written by Jean Spondria. And he stated that we live in a world where there's more and more informations and less meanings. So from here, you can see there's images that are showing out. It's more on the thoughts that he wanted to giving out for us. So now I'll be releasing it out, the highlights part of this book and the interesting parts and facts that talk about the consumer society. And there are none of the object in this society actually able to escape from the facts of begins consumed, because people's lifestyle start to be like controlled by the operations of commerce from nights to mornings, from day by days, and especially in the developments of this leisure activities that actually bonds in our society or exists in our society. It creates the integrations of daily life consumption. So next, it also highlights about the consumer. Actually, they wanted to like shop, right? So when they buy thing, it's not only for a particular purpose, but it is for the symbolic meanings. Means they are more on focused the meanings. For examples, fans of artist, maybe you are a fans of someone's, or maybe it is an artist or influencer or anyone. They have some collaborations with the brand, and then they create collaborated products with the limited design on it, and it is represent artists. So whenever you buy that things, you can actually think back on when you're buying the things. Actually, you are not really wanted to buy the items. For example, it's a shoes collaborated with an artist design. Actually, you are not really wanting to buy a shoes initially, but then because of the artist, you buy the shoes because of the collaborations. It is means like you more focus on the artist symbolic meanings rather than the shoes functionalities. So this is the examples for the more on symbolic idea. And the third thing is that it's highlight about when we talk about realities and falsehood, actually it start to be like getting blurry. So media, we can say it like social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and etc. Any things that we more often to use nowadays, it is become an important and key tool that actually creating desire and demand, which actually which is like enhancing the developments of the consumer society. And we can say that one of the methods to trigger this consumer to buy more things is actually they create a self-doubt to them. So let me show you a little bit of some up illustrations that I found, and it is quite good on reflecting the things and the points that I mentioned about the self-doubt. So here is the art illustrated the realities that happens in a consumer society. So I'm giving out like examples that from online, and here you can see they are trying to give out the feelings of like negative comments on you first. This is what the capitalists used to do for you. They spirit the social like spirit the negative comments or like standards onto a social medias, and then when you go through it, you would think, oh, I need to be what as they told, I need to be rich, I need to be beautiful. So this kind of statements is what they ask you to purchase more, to consume more. Why? Because you would think I need to improve myself. So it is kind of reflecting, giving out a negative comment first, and then ask you to improve yourself through shoppings. So this is also a triggers on consumption. So from the initial readings on the books and the consumer society, then we knowing that the dark sides of these consumerisms, it is also that I highlighted about my team name too much. So the word too much is mean excessive, as I mentioned, and it's become the team name is because of the people they keep trapped with a lot of like attractions that being promoted interestingly amongst our society, and money and desire, this kind of thing, it's become a more main focus within the consumer society. And through the mood board, actually you can see I would like to reflect the feelings of like overloaded heaviness and a sense of like being controlled without oneself, as well as like burdens. So with this, let me share about how does this consumerism been distorted and negatively change the current society consuming behavior. And yes, it is actually it's done under the capitalisms and materialisms. So as we know that consumerisms, it is what I have mentioned. It's a little bit similar to capitalism and materialism. Why? Because it is actually another dimensions of both concept. So it is just changing a name of the concept, but then the fundamentals of this concept is still exactly the same, or we can say it is mostly similar in the base. And for this, it is also focused on the capitals and the materialistics. So it is just like a pen, the paintings that been created by the capitalists who control the real market. So the market will be their paintings, their artwork, and then we are the contents of the artworks. So they are designing our like society and create the consumption behaviors on us. So those capitalists, how they do it, they plan and they create a demanding society by coming out a lot of desirable standards. Just as what I have mentioned, one of the examples just now, the artwork talk about the negative comments and then ask you to improve. Yeah, this is kind of a desirable standards. They put it on the social medias, and then you would think that I need to be having this kind of life. That's why I need to consume more. I need to get more things. So like you will need a new iPhone, new laptop, new stuff with every updated trend. So this is those statements that we often seen that been coming out in the social medias or the network or amongst the society. So it has been slowly and grow on these statements, and people will kind of like depending on this statement and follow the way of the designed desirable standards. And also they will come up with some big offer. So this is kind of one of things that triggers you to have more consumption. And you like when we think about big offer, big sales, year end sales, then you will think that oh you should buy it or else you will lose something. So it must be a words to buy. It is kind of this kind of mindset is coming out among the society and become more serious. And at the end you will actually, because of the super safe and don't miss out, and then you actually buy it. So when each of the festival is coming up, and it could be a shopping festival, so means like Christmas is a shopping festival, Valentine's is a shopping festival, or any things that we used to get celebrations in the past, it's become a shopping festival. And even though it's coming out with a double 11, double 12, or in Malaysia that Shopee is from double nine, it start have the shopping festival. So this is what we have faced in a consumer society that keep creating those kind of like reasons for you to shop. It is pursuing a lot of like reason for you, and then you need to shop. So this is kind of the consumption, and also the story that created like I want you to spend a lot to prove you love your family. So means that every festival or every maybe like spatial days, you need to have a presence for your partners or maybe for your families. So this kind of the desirable standards have been created. And yes, people within this society, actually they are also one of the toy, or we can say it is like a tool, or maybe that is a, we can say like a door. So it's this door is belongs to who? It belongs to capitalists. Capitalist is the panel. They pens the world, they pen the society, they pen the market, and then you are the one who been penned by them. So you are penned by them, but then you still buy things from them and make profit from them. So they are like kind of use you to illustrates the things that they wanted to achieve. So therefore, that consumerism have been moved toward the current status of like seriously overloaded of this consumption. So from the overproduction since 20th centuries and the creating like demands, it's like overloaded of demand. So that's why they wanted to fulfills on selling out all the excessive things. So that how they do it, they are kind of like and wanted to encourage a consumption. So this is the time they encouraging consuming like begins. So then result in a current over consumed issue. So based on the current consumption habits and behavior that societies for nowadays, actually it have caused a lot of issues. So one of the issue, as you can see in the screen, so the screen, it is quite like short on me because I just realized that we are actually producing like 2 millions of the plastic bags, and it is every minute. Means it's quite a very serious things that have been happens in the earth. So when I'm talking for the past like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, so you can think how much of the millions plastics bags is actually been thrown or become a waste in our planet. So the next thing is planet is the one who kind of like pay for our debt, even though it's not it's wrong, it's our wrong, it's like our fault, is human creating lots of like waste and creating a lot of things that is negatively affecting it. So other than that, it's not only items. Food industry, it also begins like distorted with excessive intake costs or some health issue. For example, the most serious thing is also obesity, as we need to concern on it. Also, food industry, they create a hyperpalatable foods with a high sugar, high fat, and salty foods that make people crave more, and like same or manipulative way of marketing to practice that that triggers this kind of consumptions by telling you or educating you that it is not that unhealthy as you imagined, but actually it is quite unhealthy. So it is kind of like through educations and like reduce about the unhealthy statements begins for you to like triggers the consumption on fast food. So this is one of the examples also. And the other one is that the things that been affected seriously is the social issue, which is happens in people's, which is us. And it is taught about that consumer society, actually this kind of concept, it have taken an advantage of people's is lacking a self control. They doesn't have a self discipline on controlling their cash flow or controlling their consumptions behaviors, so that there's a credit card coming out. Credit card is allow people to buy things on credits, which is like I use the future money and I pay it off later. So which is make it easy for people to give into an impulse purchase, and also it's become like excessively used the monies, and it's out of your capabilities to pay off the monies that you have already spent. So this also causes that people's personal debt increase because of these consumptions, marketing strategies, and the inventions of these credit cards. So with those facts that I've been studies and research on it, which is important to transform it into a collections, because those is a very strong statements and strong ideas to reflect the dark sides of consumerisms that I wanted to highlight. And in here, I will briefly show about and share with you all like how was it been transformed into a fashion art language. So from the concept and inspirations with the research on the consumerisms and books, and these books, which is the consumer society, and as you can see, messiness, also like colorfuls, and also like overwhelming feelings is going around all of the development board. As I showing now, it is actually a two boards, and here I'm going to highlight about the four message that been delivered through these two initials idea development boards that I will be going to highlight. So the first things that it will be talking about the colorfuls and also messy represents like the society. They kind of like full of those transformations, informations, and varieties of options being given out by the producers, market makers, or maybe the manufacturers. So those is the things that kind of added to conceptually educating the societies to consume, to have a consumerism lifestyle. So therefore, I also try to print out some samples with the words consumerism. So in the screen, you can actually see there's a printings with a white papers and red wordings. So actually, it's written consumerism. So here might be a little bit small, but then it's written about consumerism. So this is my initial develops of the first highlights that I wanted to talk about. And then the second one in this idea developments that I have come up with the informatics with a lot of like wording or poster, banners or slogans show like all the speech given from capitalists to triggers consumption. So you can see that in the image, there's a lot of like cells, like also have a Pepsi. So it's kind of like they create a slogans, and the slogan is kind of maybe it's easy to remember, or the word itself is easy to triggers consumptions. So that's why they're coming lots and more and more. So third is the society's cultures of pursuing brands and chasing on the trend, which is frequently changed. So as most of us will always do the things that I have mentioned just now, that when we think about, oh, the trend, hey, this trend is coming out and I love this trend. You see there's a beautiful dresses there. So it's kind of like trigger us to keep buying new things because we think we need to try a new item. So this is like the things that been illustrated in this society. And the last one that I wanted to highlight on this board is people's that actually they did not realize that consumption habit, which is our current consumption habit with the over usage and over consume, it's actually been trended by one of the one who is like produce the products, or the one who are create the demanding, and also it's have been create a personal desire aspects. And that's why advertisings keep to be used as a sharp tool, because it's quite means like quite effective on oneself. So that's why it's become a sharp tool. If it is not effective, then it wouldn't be a sharp tool for advertisings like those products and hit a very high sell. So just as this image, you can see there's a woman's there. They're taking a cheese and we are handphones. So it is a image art illustrations that reflects that the woman did not realize that her consumptions of these over consumes habits already been lost and out of the path. Instead, she thinks that it is a culture or belief that to be followed because of the society is all like everyone is doing the same things, so that I can follow the same thing and it is right. But actually, it's not. So, and now I will just come out with a very quick video clicks to show a little bit like a feelings of colorful societies that the capitalists they wanted to illustrate, and it is more to a fancy and distorted overloaded options and unnecessary info involved. So now I'll be showing the video. So it is how that this society that actually full of information, as in a video you can see, it's come out with a lot of colorfuls, and then the colorfulness it's coming out, it's like excessively come out. It's not like what we have seen in a common way. It's more to like things seems to be extra. So this is how they wanted to highlight about. And why these capitalists are able to conduct all these actions and behaviors and concepts in this successful way until that we don't realize we are having a wrong consumption habits. It is because they really know about the weaknesses on humanity. It is because that weaknesses on humanities means the dark sides of humanities, and they kind of like take this advantage to use the humanities for strengthens the concept to consume more and more and infinites the profits within the society. And the eight men symbol they were found in this the reasons on why it enhanced the distortions on consumerism. So now I'll be showing the 8 symbols that have distort the consumerism. So there's a vanity, desire, and also demands, culture, greed, greedy, compete, persuade, influence, and those 8 symbol is actually reflect that people feel not feeling enough, or like no matter how much we have. So vanities is like excessive pride on appearance, which is like worthless. So it's kind of like you too focus on the appearance or things that be on yourself that might be not necessary, but because of the social medias throw you about the standards. And desire is like the feelings that accompany an unsatisfied stage, and demand for more is like excess requirements occurs. So culture is the things that been occurs very very frequently, because it is a reflections on a particular society at a particular time and place. So for now it is taught about capitalisms, materialisms, and it's been encouraged and just can be like simply says that money is god. This is the culture of money is God and being promoted in the society and become the society culture. And greedy. So greedy is that oneself inner they have been distorted into excessively like desirous and compete. Compete is the things that been happens like become a common behavior, and most of the peoples that tend to compare each other, even though each other's is like the comparison is like unnecessary, we can say that, but they still want to compare with each other. And persuade and influence is the one that most of us will actually like follow some social media's famous influencer, right? So we follow as we like them, but most of the time it actually lost its path, as we will tend to follow the step of him or her just to fulfill as her desirable life show in the social media. So this is the 8 symbols that been uh, in the humanities, the dark sides of humanities, and caused it the distortions. And in fact that consumerism is the personifications of greed, and people don't realize that one can die for the greed just as one can die for nationalisms. And it's drive a persons to work too hard to desire money and to consume. So it means that you work is just because of you love the money and you love to spend. So this is the things that been promoted in this consumerism and caused this kind of like distorted consequences or distorted outcome. And it's kind of creating a statement like if you don't shop means like you are like not a normal people in this society. It's been serious until this kind of stage that it's like I shop therefore I am, this kind of statement is coming out. And with this overwhelmings and also humanity's weakness have been coming out and been take advantage, it's then the consumerism begins like more advanced to um, encourage consumption. It is because that it will actually using a lot of shop tool as I mentioned, and this is also become more huge and strong and bond with the peoples. So developing on shape is then to highlight this part that is strong, huge, powerful consumerism has been born into our like peoples and correlating oneself. So now that I wanted to focus on like both wrath and also heaviness, as I mentioned, and it is like heavily covered the humans, the kind of moods and feelings onto the collection. So with the accumulating is the main focus, because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of products that you have been bought, and also it's to reflect the negative and also dark sides of over consumed. So in the image you can see there's things that going around on the human face, and it's kind of like overloaded and with a screaming face, kind of that correlated oneself, the kind of moods also. So I'm also playing around with some arrangements that illustrated from bill pins on the wall, and some invoice that we simply throw at the sides of the tables, and then like keep masses on tables with a lot of like unused papers and receipt on bill because of we shop a lot. So these are accumulated things that also are included and play around, and also some of the things like products or boxes it's shown in the storeroom. So as you can see, there's a lot of like arrangements and things and shape I used to have this shapes developments. And here is some of the idea developments with some small samplings and also the PS arrangement to develop the shapes. And also for here, you can see there's another pages that I'm trying out, and this is the pages that I picked for you also to see. And after that, I also developed on using like heavy macron ropes to actually I wanted to test out the heaviness, right? So I tried it on these materials to have the heaviness and rough textures both to have the stronger feelings on the overlooked consumers rhythms. And now I'll be showing you the unique part of my collection, which is the talk about the knitting, because just I mentioned about the macron rope. I use it to knit out some things. So for this knitting, it is original developed knitting methods to purposely suit my collections as well, so that I need to develop myself. So it is designed into like a change, like holding the loops will be like inserts into the previous loops that been like pushed forwards. So here is just like a drafted or sketched pages that I add in here. It's just like a reference that my process. So it's actually quite like I quite satisfied for this because it create the textures of strong bolts um, between each loops. So as you can see in the image close up, the looping is like it's holding each loop together instead of it's like tying a knot. It's not a knotting, it's using a loops method, and it's keep looping until the lengths that you wanted to stop or the lengths that you need. So as a highlight, it is only like knit row by row instead of as a traditionals in big panels. It's not. It is row by row, and then only we connect it together. So as you can see in the instructions part that I have been draw, there's the buttons, the two row of knitting. So that one is the one that we need to join together, and it is quite flexible for me to have this method. Is because that I can like separately just unknit one row if I accidentally counted a wrong loops that I need. So here I will briefly show a little bit of my first developments on this knitting row and the looks of the initial look, because for the initially because I'm developing myself, so it is only come in a straight way because I still like developing it and try on it. And then next I started to think about like trying on the curve way on knitting it, because it is still the same methods, but then it will be a little bit different on when you knit the pressures that you want to apply. It will be a little bit different, so that you need to try on and test it out. So here is all just the testings tour. It's not the actual design that I've been design. It's actually just a testing tour. So for me to develop this, so I feel like I learned a lot through this development part also. So only after when I developing the knittings and I success in developing and try to study on different shape of knitting, then only I at the same time I have some developings on drawing sketches, more patterns or more shape that maybe I can try to apply with the knittings also. So this is the process that I've been included here. And also the other page also show some of the sketches and then some documentation. So this is part of my sketchbook that I will showing like partly for you also as like understanding on how we actually develop the collections. So after that, it is like we like hundreds of sketches or some documentations developing. Then only we pick the 8 looks that we need to produce into a collection. So that's mean that we actually did design a lot of looks, even like more than hundreds, 100, 200 of looks. Then only we pick the 8. So here is like the records of my calculations on those knittings that I need during the developings and testings also. And then I'm showing you like a process flow and some records that I have been dropped down during my toilings parks that. So as you can see, there's a lot of changes of marking. It means that it still take a lot of time for you to study on the syllabus that you need to knit because it doesn't have a guidance for this particular method because I'm the one who developing it or I'm the one who coming on this method. So it's quite challenged during this time, but then at the end I successfully come out. So it is quite satisfying for me, and I'm happy with my collections also, and I hope you all will enjoy it also. So here is the parts that the spec drawing. So I'm briefly showing out that so you can see that there's a lot of like unique shapes of the knitting instead of just like a straight piece knittings. It's come with curve like a big bag, or it come with like a little bit like U, but it's not that curve. It's kind of a way that I sketch out first, then I test the shape of it. So here is like a close up of each of my knittings parts that I like highlight for you also, as you can like imagine the end products first. And here is the videos of I'm knitting it. So that is the things that we need to always kind of like understand that knitting is, it will have some flexibilities when you knit things because you can see there's a hole. So when it is stretchable or maybe it is like able to run out of the shape. So sometimes I need to like knit at the floor, and sometimes to move back to the dummies and then to check it. Is it still look okay, or is it the proportion, is it correct? So after that, not only things, I'm also trying to include things that it can be highlights consumerism. So as in the initial part, I did trying out on printing. So that's why I added it in, because I think that these wordings and the arrangements that I apply, it's kind of very highlighting the consumerism's concept onto the garments. So this is the parts that I have included. So this is the customized printed. And also the PVC's parts that I also include with the layerings. And then, as mentioned about the colorfulness of the society and consumer society, so my color palettes have been includes the bright, sharp, solids color for like constructing those reflecting those fancy society under the consumerism. So here is the front and back range plans with the actual models and also the illustrations versions. So, and then after sharing all those like conceptuals, developings, and some highlights on the unique techniques and also customized elements, it is time for me to show you all the looks for a more full view, because in the previous slides, it might have some looks coming out, but then it's not a very full version. So now it is time for you to enjoy my lookbook so that you can have a full versions on looking on it. And let's enjoy. So after that, it is time for us to enjoy the other interesting part, which is our collections video. So after the lookbooks, it is time to have some aside things that, and this video actually it's emphasis the negative and dark side that I've been keep trying to explaining. So in here, I think you all will have a better view and understanding on the dark side, and it is kind of a little bit depressing moods on the rhythms and the shooting style. And I hope you all will enjoy it. And yeah, after the collections video, another things to announce is for the interesting projects that I've been extended from my collections into collaborated art projects, which is this virtual art museum with the collaborated illustrators or the graphics designer. It's been an visual explore to the dark sides of consumerisms with the expressions from fashions and art blendings. So I hope that these virtual museums will be able to inspire and impress the visitors or anyone from here or the one who are looking and watching for my live sections. It's able to have in a more like inspired feelings and more understandings on these consumerism as well. So it will be giving like a tour of this arts sense on these topics also. So it is feel free to scan the QR codes in here, and in a later page I will also like show up a bigger version. So here I will just wanted to highlight about the things that will be included in these museums also. So it will be including my fashions collections with like more arts way in presenting it, and also the collaborated projects. So scanning this code will bring you directly to the website, and it is also can easily just type like www.ja-jmi.com. So because it's quite short, it's you can also type in this way. Yeah. And next will be the last sections that we were talking about is I wanted to say some things on the sharings, and also as a concludes that we need to be like more rational shoppers, as don't let our lovely planets to pay the debt. So in an image you can see if that earth become these kinds of colors or like desaturated means what means that the world is going to end. So we don't want to see the days coming, and also we should try to preserve a beautiful planet for the next generations, and also for a healthy society, like without having those like too much of personal debt as I have mentioned because of the credit card. So this is kind of those society issues also. So it's not only the nature, also ourselves, we need to improve it, and it's not like giving out a lot of accumulated waste to our next generations. And yeah, it is the end of my sharings and collection showcase. So thank you so much for you all staying with me for these sections and appreciate all of the supports in the comments as well. And I'm here to represent all the designers to say that a big thank you for you all for the time that stay with us, and also for the both sections, those audience who are like attending a both session, also very very big thanks to you all. And I hope that each of the designers for their expressions on the uniqueness of collections throughout the showcase, and I hope you all will be able to enjoy and also get more inspired from the fashions also. And besides, a special thanks to panel who are Miss Eliza, Miss Christina, Miss Joyce, Dr. Tirani, Miss Alexandra, and also Miss Barbara for being as our showcase panels. And also, I hope you all enjoyed the bow section as well from the designers. And also, a big thanks, a lot of thank you, right? A big thanks to Miss Jennifer with the guidance given throughout our bachelors in this fashion design journey. And also, Dr. Dan, Miss Jean. I know you all are looking at the slide also, and all the lecturers for the knowledge and skill shared and guidance to us. And lastly, a special thanks to production team, Miss Lin and also Mr. Asras for the helps and also leads for a successful fashion live Facebook Live Fashion Showcase. So thank you all of the ones who attending in these sections, and hope you have a great day. Bye.